Hello, and welcome to Top 10s You Should Know. Let's have a heart-to-heart for a moment. You work hard. You put in the hours. You're not lazy. You're doing your best. And yet, when you check your bank account at the end of the month, it's the same story. You're stuck. Still broke. Still behind. Still one emergency away from disaster. You wonder, why can't I get ahead? Is it the economy, my job, my habits? Sometimes the real reason is silent. It's invisible. It's the financial loop you're stuck in, one that keeps repeating itself without your permission. These loops aren't obvious. They look like normal life. They sound like smart decisions. But deep down, they're costing you your peace, your progress, and your future. So today, we're diving deep into the top 10 financial loops you're trapped in without even knowing. If you want to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck grind, this is where the escape begins. Grab a seat. Grab your notebook. Let's break the cycle. 1. Earning more, spending more. You get a raise, a better job, a bonus, and you feel proud, rightfully so. But almost immediately, without thinking, you start spending more. You upgrade your car. You move into a pricier apartment. You dine out more often. Suddenly, your expenses catch up with your new income. And before you know it, you're just as broke as before, only now with nicer things. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's a sneaky loop that feels like progress, but it's really just a treadmill. You work harder and earn more, but your financial freedom doesn't move. You're still waiting for someday when you'll finally save. But someday never comes. The truth? Just because you can spend more doesn't mean you should. Break this loop by locking in your lifestyle while your income rises. Channel the difference into savings, investments, and debt payoff. Your future self will be thankful. 2. Paying minimums on debt. It feels like you're doing the right thing. Paying something is better than nothing, right? But minimum payments are designed to trap you. That $4,000 credit card balance? If you pay just the minimum, it could take decades to clear. And over that time, you'll pay thousands, sometimes tens of thousands in interest alone. This loop makes you feel like you're making progress when in reality, you're just treading water. You see the same balance month after month, and you wonder why you're never free. It's exhausting. The way out? Prioritize one debt and attack it with everything you've got while making minimums on the rest. Every extra dollar chips away at the chain. You don't need to be debt-free overnight. You just need to stop feeding the loop. 3. Confusing wants with needs. I need this. That phrase gets us in trouble more than we realize. The problem is, we often confuse comfort with necessity. That daily $7 coffee isn't a need. That weekend shopping trip, that brand new phone upgrade, those aren't essentials. They're cravings. And every time you indulge and justify, you're normalizing the loop. You're teaching your brain that temporary desire equals long-term value. But it doesn't. The dopamine fades, the item gets dusty, and the bank account suffers. Breaking this loop takes honesty. Ask yourself before any purchase, will this improve my life in 30 days, 6 months, a year? If not, wait. Let the urge pass. Reclaim control over your money and your mind. Using credit as a safety net. You run out of cash, so you fall back on your credit card. Gas, groceries, even rent. It starts as survival, but slowly becomes a habit. You start depending on borrowed money for basics. And now, you're not just paying for today, you're paying interest on yesterday. This loop keeps you in a cycle of debt, stress, and dependency. The way out? Build a small emergency fund, even $500. Use cash or debit for daily spending. Credit should be a tool, not a lifeline. 5. Subscribing to everything, using almost nothing. That $9.99 here, $4.99 there. It feels small, harmless, but over time, subscriptions become financial quicksand. You forget about them. You hardly use them, but they quietly pull $100, $200, or more from your account every month. The loop? Guilt. You tell yourself you'll use them next week, but you don't, and the charges continue. Break free by doing a subscription audit every 3 months. Cancel ruthlessly, and remember, if you're not using it, you're renting regret. 6. Ignoring financial education. Let's be honest, most of us were never taught about money, not in school, not at home. So we wing it, and when we don't understand how interest works or how investing builds wealth, we avoid it altogether. That avoidance becomes a loop of ignorance, fear, and inaction. But knowledge is power, and it's never been more available. podcasts, YouTube, blogs, financial education is everywhere. Start small, one concept a week. The more you know, the freer you become. So 7, living for appearances. You buy the outfit, the phone, the vacation, not because you need it, but because you want to be seen having it. Social media fuels this loop. We compare, we compete, we post, but behind the filters is financial strain. You're trying to look rich instead of becoming rich. The truth? Real wealth is quiet. It's the savings you don't post, the investments nobody sees, the peace of mind when bills come in and you don't flinch. Break this loop by focusing inward, not outward, postponing investing because it feels too late or too small. You think investing is for rich people, or older people, or people who know the stock market. So you delay another month, another year. But here's the truth. The earlier you start, the better. Even if it's just $20 a week. Because time, not timing, is the real power of investing. The loop is thinking, I don't have enough, when in reality, starting is enough. Begin where you are. Compound growth needs one thing, your commitment. 9, relying on one source of income, one job, one paycheck, one stream. That's how most people live. But in today's economy, that's not just risky, it's dangerous. One change, a layoff, a cut in hours, and your whole life spirals. That's the loop. You trade all your time for one income stream, and it keeps you financially fragile. The exit? Start something small on the side. Freelancing, flipping, tutoring, anything that gives you a second leg to stand on. Because stability doesn't come from one income, it comes from options. 10, not setting clear money goals. You work, you earn, you pay, you repeat. But what's the goal? Saving some money isn't a goal. Getting out of debt is vague. Without clear financial targets, how much, by when, and why, you drift. You react instead of plan. And that's a loop that keeps you from building real wealth. Define your goals. I want to save $5,000 in 12 months for a down payment. Now your money has direction, and direction breaks cycles. There you have it. 10 financial loops you might be trapped in without even realizing it. Some of these loops whisper. They don't scream. They blend into your daily routine, disguised as normal, reasonable, even smart choices. But slowly, quietly, they drain your energy, your progress, and your wealth. And the scariest part? They feel safe. They feel familiar. They feel like just the way things are. But the truth is, you don't have to live like that. You don't have to spend your entire life stuck in the same cycle, working hard, earning more, yet never really moving forward. Because recognizing the loop is the first step to breaking it. So now it's your turn. Look inward. Which of these loops hit you the hardest? Was it lifestyle inflation, emotional spending, avoiding financial education? Be honest, not for me, but for you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's build a space where people talk about money openly, without shame, without fear. Because here's what I believe, and I hope you